Rick Caruso makes heartbreaking admission about California wildfires. Rick Caruso, the former Los Angeles mayoral candidate and billionaire real estate developer, appeared on Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday, where he expressed deep sadness over the recent deadly wildfires in California, specifically the Palisades Fire and the Eaton Fire. Caruso, who had predicted the potential devastation of these fires years earlier, criticized the current mayor, Karen Bass, and her administration for their handling of the disaster. He revealed that in the past he had warned about the fire risks in areas like the Pacific Palisades, and now as the fires ravaged through these neighborhoods, he said with a heavy heart, "I'm so sad that I was right." Caruso explained that fires like the Palisades Fire were not unforeseeable, pointing to the history of fire seasons in the region. He referenced past fires, including one in Malibu just weeks before the Palisades Fire and one in Brentwood 6 years ago, to emphasize how predictable these natural disasters were. He specifically noted that given the combination of dry vegetation and proximity to fire-prone areas, it was only a matter of time before a fire would devastate the Palisades. "It was predictable, Bill, and what's predictable is preventable," Caruso added. He expressed frustration over the city's failure to take preventative actions. One of Caruso's strongest criticisms was directed at the city's lack of preparedness, particularly the condition of the Santa Ynez Reservoir, which he claimed was out of service during the peak fire season. Caruso argued that this was a clear example of negligence by the current administration. The fire season, which is a known annual risk, should have prompted the city to ensure critical infrastructure was ready, especially during times when fires were anticipated. He said the failure to do so bordered on negligence and emphasized the importance of making informed, proactive decisions in managing the city. "Running the city is running a business for the benefit of the residents," he said, adding that better business decisions could have mitigated the impact of the firestorm. He also expressed concern about the lack of proper fire alerts and questioned why more hadn't been done to prevent the devastation that followed. In the aftermath of the fire, Caruso shared his thoughts on how Los Angeles should approach recovery and rebuilding efforts. He emphasized the need for long-term strategies, such as undergrounding power lines to reduce the risk of fires spreading from power failures. He also warned against rebuilding homes and structures in areas like the Palisades without considering their vulnerability to future fires. "Don't go build the same damn thing," he urged. Caruso also discussed how his own properties in the Pacific Palisades fared during the fires. Despite the destruction around it, the shopping center he owns in the area withstood the flames, a feat he credited to its design. Caruso explained that the entire shopping village had been built with fire-resistant materials as he anticipated the risk of fires in the region. In contrast to the widespread devastation, the village he developed was designed to withstand a firestorm using non-combustible materials and other fire-resistant measures. When Maher raised concerns about whether it was fair for someone like Caruso, who can afford private firefighting services, to take such measures while others cannot, Caruso defended his decision. He argued that hiring private firefighters allowed the LA Fire Department to focus on other parts of the city. However, he also stressed that if the city's fire department were adequately funded and resourced, there would be no need for private firefighting teams. He believed that a well-equipped, well-funded public service could provide better coverage for all residents regardless of their financial means. Throughout the conversation, Caruso also reflected on the personal impact of the fires. While his own home was spared, his daughter's house was destroyed. He mentioned the lives of the people affected by the fires, noting that many lost not only their homes but also their livelihoods. "People have lost their jobs," he said, pointing to the workers in affected areas, including gardeners, chefs, and delivery people. He argued that the community needed to come together to help these workers and ensure that those who depended on these businesses for employment could rebuild their lives as well. As of the reports, the wildfires had killed at least 27 people, destroyed more than 12,000 structures, and displaced 10,000s in the Los Angeles area. The fires continued to burn with dry conditions and strong winds fueling the flames. Caruso's appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher underscored his belief that more could have been done to prevent the tragedy, and that smarter and more proactive strategies could help mitigate future fire risks in the region.